Explosions! Nukes! Today, I tried to beat Fallout 4 as an Institute soldier. Now, I know, I said I wasn't gonna do a Institute soldier video in my Enclave video, but I decided, you know what, I gotta finish out all 4 main storylines, so I decided I'm gonna do this video. So, the rules for this challenge are simple. Number 1, I am only allowed to use weapons that are on synths or coursers. So weapons like the Institute rifle, Institute pistol, and the shock baton are allowed. And number 2, the only armor I'm going to be wearing is the courser's outfit. And number 3, I just have to beat the main Institute storyline. Also, I will be killing all non-essential enemies of the Institute. So enemies I can kill that don't just get knocked out when I shoot them. So with that being said, let's go. I started off in Vault 111 where I changed my skills a bit. Now I wanted to go towards more of a gun and strength build because I wanted to use both melee and guns as well. So once I picked those, I headed outside of Vault 111 and made my way towards the one place I knew where there was a bunch of synths so I could actually get a weapon, which was going to the Brotherhood. Now, I will meet up with the Brotherhood for this little section, but I won't actually side with them. So I just head to Dance and talk to him for a bit, and then once he gets ready to go to ArcJet, basically I just head with Dance and we head out to go to ArcJet Systems, where there were a bunch of dogs trying to kill me. So I just stood on a car while Dance shot at them, and then I leveled up and I put the points into toughness. Once I was inside of ArcJet, I made my way through the facility and talked to Dance, where basically we just did the whole thing with ArcJet. I opened up the doors to the first section where there's actually synths, and then I let Dance shoot all of them so that I could obtain a shock baton and a Institute pistol. So once some of them were dead, I just went up and I grabbed all of the weapons I could, getting me some fusion cells and my first few weapons, which was great. So that completed that part. I then headed towards Diamond City first of all, so I could save Nick and progress the main story. So I head to Diamond City and talk to Piper, where we just get inside of Diamond City, and then once I'm inside Diamond City, I go to Nick's detective agency where I meet up with Ellie, allowing me to complete the quest, Jewel of the Commonwealth, where I level up and I put a point into Life Giver, giving me just some extra HP. After that, I head to Park Street Station, where I make sure to meet up with the Triggermen, or well, more like beat all the Triggermen. So I go inside and I just kill all the Triggermen in the main level, and yeah, the shock baton, pretty good weapon from what I found. I also tried using the Institute pistol just to see how it is, and it's pretty good, but I think just a laser rifle is better. I also put a point into Big Leaguers to do more damage with melee weapons. I then opened up the door to the vault using my Pip-Boy, of course. So after that, we went inside of Vault 114, where I just killed more Triggermen with my shock baton. Again, very good weapon. If you sprint and hit people with this, the shock baton is just actually one of just the best melee weapons I could have used because of the electric effect and just the regular damage. So I headed through Vault 114, where I took a lot of damage from the Triggermen, but I just made it through with my weapons, and then I got to Dino, where I tried to hit him with the shock baton, and yeah, it did do quite a lot of damage to Dino and allowed me to just 4-shot him pretty easily. So after that, I headed in and talked to Nick Valentine after grabbing the speech bobblehead. Then I go over to Skinny Malone, where we kill Skinny Malone, of course, as we always do. So I hit him with my shock baton, and then I hit Darla and the rest of Skinny Malone's gang. Now, it wasn't too bad because if you hit someone with the shock baton, basically it allows me to stun lock them for a little bit. So overall, it was pretty easy, but I just ran over to each of the Triggermen and hit them, and then this guy, I hit him, he just goes flying. So after that, I head out of the vault. Then I meet up with Nick Valentine outside, where I just talk to him to basically do a whole debrief, and then I level up, allowing me to get another point, which I decide to put into Gunslinger since I am already using the Institute pistol, so that I can just do a little bit more damage, of course. Then I go back to Ellie, where I meet up with her, and I just say, hey, I got Nick Valentine back. So basically I do the whole interview with him, as always, where I say, where is Sean, you know, basically just the same thing as always. So I go with Nick Valentine to Kellogg's house, and then he's like, oh, let me try to lockpick it. So then I go up the elevator to go get the key for Kellogg's house, so I speak to the secretary to get the key, which was easy, of course, because, you know, I have pretty high charisma. So after that's all done, I head back to Kellogg's house, open it up, and then we go through Kellogg's house, just rummaging through everything, and I get a lot of healing supplies, which is very good. So I speak to Nick Valentine, and then we get Dogmeat out, where I say, hey, Dogmeat, let's go find Kellogg. So instead of following Dogmeat, I just run straight to Fort Hagen, because at this point, I know where Fort Hagen is. So I kill some ghouls along the way, and I head towards Fort Hagen. And then outside, I just have to shoot some of these turrets, which actually took a lot of shots to kill. So I go inside and I find a bunch of synths, which were pretty easy, but I took so much damage when I was inside Fort Hagen because these synths, they just do a lot of damage. So I am here with my Institute rifle that I found, and I'm just killing all of these synths. But I'm trying to sort of save my fusion cells while I'm doing this, just to not run out. But I then level up, getting me another point, which I put in Rifleman, to do more damage with my newly found Institute rifle. I then tell Dogmeat, hey man, let me just head through the facility on my own. He's like, okay, and then he leaves. So then I just go up to Kellogg and I just spray him with my Institute rifle. Now, I don't know why, but it takes so many shots with this Institute rifle to kill Kellogg. So I do kill him eventually, but it did waste a lot of fusion cells, which was not amazing, but hey, I still killed Kellogg, so that is something. So I read the whole terminal, and then I go outside where I see the Pridwin, which, you know, I would be blowing up soon. Then I go back to speak with Piper and Nick, and then we head to Good Neighbor, of course. Now the Good Neighbor section, as always, is just the long cutscene. It doesn't say it is, but we all know. It's just a long cutscene. So head through the whole long sequence, and then I learn about the Institute teleportation and all that, which is going to be my key to getting into the Institute so I can actually join them. So I speak with Dr. Amari, who tells me to find Virgil. I level up, allowing me to take another point, which I decided to put in Lone Wanderer because I will take less damage, of course. I then go back to Sanctuary, where I put on a new photon exciter receiver for my Institute rifle. So after that, I then head to Virgil's cave in the glowing sea. So once I'm inside, I just speak to Virgil as I do, and then I just speak to him about, hey man, how can I get inside of the Institute? So after that's all done, I level up, allowing me to get another point, which I put into Life Giver to give me some more health. I then head to go find the Courser so I can finally get my outfit, and I can get inside and join the Institute. So once I'm inside Green Tech Genetics, I just shoot through all the gunners, which are pretty easy, and I do get a lot of fusion cells because many of the gunners do have laser weapons, as you can see. So I shoot through all the gunners, and then I head up to the final floor of gunners before the Courser and kill them all, again, pretty easy, and I get a lot of fusion cells. So I get to where the Courser is, and I try to kill him very quickly, but he just has so much health that it took me quite a lot of shots to kill him. But luckily, I did eventually kill him, allowing me to get the Courser's chip and also the Courser's outfit, which looks pretty awesome and also gives me finally some damage resistance. So I head down the elevator to get out of Green Tech Genetics and finally start on my way to get to the Institute. But first, I level up, getting me another point into toughness. I then decide to put a reflex sight on my Institute rifle so that I can actually, see better with it. So I then head to the railroad to decode the Courser's chip. So I head to the railroad and enter the password, and then I just kill every single member of the railroad. So after that's done, I head inside to the railroad HQ, where I just finish off the rest of the railroad members inside. So once that is all done, I thought I could head to the computer, but I realized, I actually have to go speak with Dr. Amari. So I go back, speak to Dr. Amari about everything that I've done so far, and then I go back and decode the Courser's chip. So after that's done, I head back to Virgil, where I tell him, hey, I have the Courser's chip decoded, and he tells me about the teleportation so that I can actually get inside of the Institute. And to do this, I decided to go with the Minutemen because they'd be actually the quickest. So I head to the Museum of Freedom, where I find a Brotherhood patrol, and I level up first, getting a point to Rifleman. Then I decide to kill every member of the Brotherhood patrol. But that wasn't it, because another Brotherhood patrol came through with 2 knights, and so what I did was I just shot out their fusion cores, and for some reason, these knights, they actually just did not care. Like, I could just shoot out their core, and then once their, like, power armor fully blew up, I just went around the corner, went back. They didn't really care, so I just went to the next Brotherhood knight, shot out his core, and then also, once he got mad, like, they get mad for a bit, but you actually have to shoot them again for them to aggro onto you. So I just killed the rest of the knights, and then I headed back into the Museum of Freedom after that. I then met up with Preston Garvey and also picked up the Perception bobblehead. So I spoke with him and he told me about everything going on. So instead of getting the power armor, I just jump across the roofs and then I kill the raiders to make my way down into Concord, where I clear out the rest of the raiders, and also I just start shooting at the Deathclaw. Now this Deathclaw, again, very tough, and I didn't want to waste all of my fusion cells, so I tried to conserve my shots, which eventually I did kill him, and I went back to Preston Garvey and spoke with him, told him to meet me at Sanctuary, so I slept at Sanctuary to wait for Preston, and once Preston got there, I just talked with him, and he told me to go help out a settlement, but I had different plans. You see, I just decided to kill the settlers, because Preston doesn't actually care. If you just kill the settlers and go back to him, he's gonna be like, aw man, too bad. And he still says, you're the general, and now we can build the teleporter. He really just doesn't care. So I decided to build the teleporter, and yeah, I just first build the reflector platform, go back, talk to Sturgis, and then I build the rest of all the things I need. So first the molecular beam emitter, then the relay dish, and then finally the control console. I then have to power everything up, so after everything is fully powered, I beam myself into the Institute. So once I'm actually inside of the Institute, I level up and I put a point into big leaders so I can just do more damage with my shock baton when I'm using it. I then meet up with Father and I just speak to him for a bit. After speaking with him, I go meet all of the members of the Institute. So first is Allie Fillmore. So after talking to her, I then head to Bioscience and speak with the Bioscience leaders. Then after that, we head and talk to Madison Lee. And finally, lastly, we go to Advanced Systems and meet the director there. So after that's all done, I have to scan the network just to be able to leave the Institute. So after doing that, I level up, allowing me to put a point into Bloody Mess just to do some extra damage. I speak with Father where he tells me to go to help the Courser to do some synth retention. Basically, I have to capture an escaped synth. So I head over to capture this escaped synth, and while I'm there, I just kill all the raiders, and then I get greeted by a mini nuke in my face. I then speak with the Courser, then we go meet with the leader of this raider gang. So I use the reset code on him. After that, we kill the rest of these raiders pretty easily because the shock baton, again, great melee weapon. The Courser and the Synth then teleport back to the Institute, then I head back as well to speak with Father. After speaking with Father, I go to my new quarters where I fully complete Synth retention. Then I speak with Father again to talk about the Battle of Bunker Hill. So I just speak with them and then we head to Bunker Hill to go meet up with the Courser there. So I speak with the Courser about how we're going to take Bunker Hill. So basically we head up, I kill some railroad agents, and then I head into the utility basement. Now inside there, I kill more railroad heavies pretty easily with the shock baton. Then I head to the synths and then basically reset code all of the synths. I then go meet with Father at the CIT ruins, and I level up, getting another point and put it into Bloody Mess. I then attend the directorate meeting with Father. So after the meeting, I just speak with Father about it. Then we decide to speak with Allie, where we have to go to Mass Fusion. But before that, I trade with the synth vendor to basically buy a bunch of ammo. And so after that, I head to Mass Fusion, and we beam our way there. So I do the same thing as every time I've gone to Mass Fusion. I just go to the terminals, and then I get the access code to go down the elevator. So once I'm going down the elevator, I meet a bunch of Brotherhood Knights, which I kill with a lot of shots from my Institute rifle. I then go to get the Beryllium Agitator, which I get, but there's a lot of radiation in that room, so I get out quickly, and then I have to attack a Sentry Bot, which again, takes a lot of my fusion cells. I then kill the Assaultrons as well, which were pretty difficult, but I was able to kill them. So I beam my way back to the Institute with the Beryllium Agitator in hand, and then I give it to Ali Fillmore, which completes the Mass Fusion quest, giving me a bunch of XP, which also allowed me to take another level up, which I put into Endurance. So I then speak with Father, and we basically have to, at this point, go get the scientist from a house and he was like kind of, I guess, unwilling to help out the Institute. So I kill some gunners, then a bunch of Mr. Handies just came and attacked me. So after killing them, I went inside the house and I spoke with the Institute scientist there, and he told me about the situation. I then convinced the scientist to basically come out of the room and help out the Institute. So after that, the scientist talks to me and I say, hey man, no problem. So after that also, I level up, getting another point into Endurance, and then I talk with Father about giving a speech. So basically, I just talk into the microphone, give a speech about how the Institute is the future for the Commonwealth and all that, and how we're doing good. I then spoke with Father after that, and then basically I traded with the synth vendor as well, and just sold a couple of my Institute pistols. And then I went to Bioscience, where everyone was divided, and they had reprogrammed some of the synths to attack me. So basically, I head there, and I tried to persuade him, but he did not fall for the persuasion. So we just went in, and I had to kill the scientists of the Bioscience department. Basically, just to clear it out and complete that quest. So I spoke with the guy outside, and he said, you know what? It wasn't good, but you know, you had to do what you had to do. I then went to Diamond City to buy some stim packs, and then I also programmed the radio station. Now, I don't know why he didn't care that I was just reprogramming the radio station, but it's whatever. I spoke with Father, and then I put in the Beryllium Agitator, and I power up the reactor inside of the Institute, finally bringing even more power to the Institute. So I speak with Father after that, then I basically become the director of the Institute, where I hold a directorate meeting. Then I level up, putting another point into Endurance. I also speak to Father, and I had already completed End of the Line since I already killed the railroad earlier. So after that, we were at the end of the Institute storyline. We beamed our way to the airport, where we would take on the Brotherhood. So when I get to Boston Airport, basically they had a bunch of jammers, so the Institute could not beam in. So what I decided to do was destroy all of the jammers. So what I had to do was just shoot them once, and then basically after I shoot it once, a bunch of synths would come through and teleport into the Boston Airport. So I make my way through the airport, finding all of the terminals. Also, I shot all of the Brotherhood members. I shot out this fusion core and let it blow up on the Brotherhood Knight. So that knight died pretty easily. And then I got to my last, I guess, relay, or whatever you like to call it, teleportation blocker. I shot it, and that allowed every synth from the Institute to beam their way to the Boston Airport. I then had to guard a synth while they tried to reprogram Liberty Prime. I also threw a couple of my synth-like grenades just to spawn some synths. I then also shot Proctor Ingram after that, killing Proctor Ingram. Then a vertibird came in trying to kill me, so I shot down that vertibird, blowing it up. Then also Night Rees and some of the other prominent Brotherhood members came and tried to kill me, like Elder Maxon as well, which for Elder Maxon, I just ran from him. He had a Gatling laser, so I just hid while the synth reprogrammed Liberty Prime, which luckily the synth was able to do. So I got beamed away from the Boston Airport and teleported to where I could watch the Pridwin get blown up. Then I leveled up, putting a point into Lone Wanderer. Then I talked to Father, and this was basically the end. Now, I'm gonna say this. This is probably going to be the last soldier video I do for Fallout 4, just because I'm trying to move to go do some other games on this channel or something like that, just some like other challenges for Fallout 4 or something. But if you enjoyed this, subscribe and Peace.